Hey guys, and welcome to another video. I hope you guys are doing well. I feel like everyone is well and truly in exam spirit, or more like exam suffering, and I know it can be a really stressful time. I know sometimes it can feel like lots and lots of things are building up and you've got all this pressure from yourself, your friends, your family, your teachers, and you've got these expectations, these grades that you need to achieve, and basically you can just get very, very stressful. So I thought it might be useful to give you guys a few tips on how not to be so stressful. Of course, everyone's way of management differs, it's kind of pretty individual. These are just some things that I do that I think helps and it keeps me kind of sane, I'd say, during exam time, because it's a tough time. My first tip I would say is prepare. It's so important for multiple reasons. I think firstly, preparing, like in terms of preparing, I mean like setting yourself goals. I know lots of people like to do revision schedules and like big old like timetables. If that's for you, go for it. Personally, I find timetables, I don't know, I've never liked them. Even when I was younger, I just never liked it. Instead, I like to kind of be like, okay, at the end of today, I want to do 2 hours of chem on this, and 2 hours of maths on this, 2 hours of bio on this, and then at the end of the week, I want to have covered this topic. Kind of like that's the way I kind of go about it. But do whatever you feel is best, but do your preparation, and just kind of know what you want to do in advance. I personally feel like most of my stress comes from the feeling that I'm not going to finish what I need to, or like not going to know enough when it comes to exams. So I feel like when I prepared it and being like, okay, I'm going to finish all my maths by this date, I feel like so much like less anxious. I'm like, okay, that's not too bad then. It'll be finished by then, and it will be okay. It'll work out. So yeah, definitely do the preparation. But like, firstly, just to make sure you know what you're doing, and secondly, just for that feeling that you're prepared, definitely helps. Another thing, of course, taking a break. Definitely take your breaks. I know sometimes it can get into the feeling of like you have to keep working 24/7, and I sometimes feel like that. I'm like, no, I have to be non-stop. I need to be focusing. Which, yes, you should focus, but don't overwork yourself. It's so important to take a break. I tend to do kind of like 2 hours of work, then take about half an hour break, walk around, get some food, that kind of thing, and then back onto it. But obviously it differs per person, but take that break. And I put one thing here, it's like, do something that you like, whether that be like, if you like video games, do a bit of like some video games. If you like reading, do some reading. I like to cook, I like to bake. That's such like a stress-free thing for me. So every kind of like, if you watch me on Instagram, you'll see every few days or so I will bake something, I will make something, partially because I'm hungry and want some food, but mainly because it's such like a massive stress relief for me, and it just makes me feel like really like chilled. And so yeah, find something that you enjoy and try to input it. And another thing I'm going to try and do is do a little bit of exercise. I won't lie, I hardly do any exercise. When I was younger, when I was like 12 and 13, I used to do dance like 3 times a week, and I was like on it. But now I do nothing. The most exercise I get is like walking to the bus stop and going to work, and think it's awful. And so something that I'm going to try and do, maybe like once a week, so the weather's getting a bit better, is just doing like an hour walk with myself, or like my sister or my mum, just like around where I live, and like come back. Partially for my physical health, because obviously it's good to get your heartbeat racing and getting out there, but also secondly, I think more importantly, sometimes your mental health. It's so good just to take a break, just to take in some fresh air, just to sometimes not even think about exams. I think when you're just covered in past papers, it can be quite intimidating, quite stressful. Take yourself out of that environment, and just be somewhere just where you can forget about it. So yeah, that's going to be something that I try and do like once a week, because I think what I find is I really prefer like working and revising in my kitchen. I also like cooking and eating in my kitchen, so I spend lots of the time kind of cooped up in my kitchen, and so that's why it's even more important for me to like get out and just do other things, and just get moving. Another thing that I've got here is I'm someone who can get really anxious. I always find when I'm doing like a random paper on like a Tuesday evening at like, I don't know, 12 a.m, and then I'm doing it, and then I suddenly get this feeling of am I going to learn all this content in time? Am I going to know everything? Do I know this? And I get really anxious, and it's not great. And I hate it. I hate that feeling. If anyone's got anxiety, you know, it's like I always say, like an alarm clock that won't stop ringing. It's awful. And what I recently found is tea. And I used to never like tea. I used to be someone who'd always go for a hot chocolate. I don't know, I just never really liked it. And my entire family loved tea, so we got loads of it in the house. And what I really found is just making something warm and something hot is so soothing and so relaxing. And so now it's my go-to, like every kind of once in a week or whatever, whenever I get really anxious, I make myself some hot tea or just some hot water. And just as soon as I have it, I just feel so much more relaxed. And so if you're someone who feels like that, sometimes try it out. It might not work, but it's something that kind of works for me, and I really kind of enjoy that soothing effect. Another thing I would say is just your breathing. Sometimes I feel like when everything feels really out of control, controlling your breathing helps so much. And I always do this, you know, just things like breathing in for 4, holding it for 8, breathing out for 4, just keeping control of your breathing and just focusing on your breathing and forgetting about all of the mess in front of you can be really helpful, and makes you feel a little less stressed. But yeah, that's my main kind of stuff. And generally speaking, try not to overwork yourself. It's hard because, I mean, do remember you've probably got 2 months, so you don't need to like over cram, and hopefully you've done your little bits of revision throughout the year, and you're on track. But just kind of go at a good pace and set yourself, and try not to put too much pressure on yourself. And I know that's really hard. I always feel like I need to do this, or this is going to happen, or I failed, or I've done this or this. Try not to think of it like that. Just think of it as like just believe in yourself, be confident in yourself, and pace yourself, and just work hard. And hopefully that helps. I hope this video helps you. Just a few tips on how to kind of de-stress and relax. If you have your own tips, let me know. I could do with some. And yeah, I hope your revision is going well. I hope your holidays are going well. And thanks for watching. Feel free to subscribe to the student room. Feel free to subscribe to my own channel, Manisha P. And my Instagram and Twitter is also @_Manisha P. Okay, that's all from me, guys. Bye.